who would put their arms around me and make me feel better?
Take me back to your childhood. You touched on it earlier. You're the middle of three. It was a difficult upbringing in terms of there not being that much disposable cash.
Mhm.
And your mother got very ill when you were a teenager. Do you mind telling us about that?
I usually can talk about it like kind of in the past, steadily, but I think it affects me kind of more now as I get older and I've got grandchildren and the kind of realization. We didn't tell my mum that she was dying. We all decided to keep it a secret. My sister was only 12 and we didn't want her to know, which now she feels she should have been allowed to know, but we thought we were protecting her. It was hard. My mum got leukemia. I was 15. I do remember that there was very little known about the disease. She was in Manchester Royal Infirmary, in and out, having blood transfusion. Now I think about it, there was always chaos because no one quite knew what leukemia was and why this ward was gradually filling up with more patients with this same disease. My older brother, who was 17, went out to work because my dad, who was a barber, was getting blood clots, so he wasn't well. My life actually at that time, with no help, no one to talk to, it was hard. It was really hard. And my mum was one of those people. My dad was strict and got cross, and there were hard times. My mum was the gentlest, sweetest soul, and I remember the first thing that went into my head when I knew my mum was dying is I had very painful periods. Who would put their arms around me and make me feel better? And that was my first thought. And I thought often now that, my God, that was the most selfish of things to think about. But she was someone that could put her arms around you and make everything in the world feel better, which I do and did with my daughters and my granddaughters. I know the power of love, real love. And so I use it. But you can't have something like that happen in your life without feeling a tremendous guilt. I wanted, to go to school, wanted to go to dance school, didn't want to miss lessons. Somebody had to stay at home with my mom. And I wanted, it not always to be my turn. And I know my mum wanted me to be with her. And I didn't always stay. I didn't always give her everything that I could have because I guess being 15 at that time is very different to being 15 today, where we expect everybody and we see kids growing up so fast. We certainly were not growing up so fast. So it was really hard.
I'm so sorry you went through that, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And I think you're very hard on yourself. I don't think that thought about your periods and who was going to comfort you is at all selfish. I think actually it demonstrates what a kind, loving mother you had. And although I can understand the guilt because so many of us are riven by it, it was entirely misplaced. And I'm sure your mother absolutely knew that and was so grateful for the time that she did have with you. And you clearly did so much for her, and you're a living testament to her love. And thank you for talking about that so
Okay.
beautifully. Was dance an escape from all of this?
Dance was the place I wanted to live my life. I had to dance. I had to be in a studio. This was a world that I treasured. And luckily, I felt I could capture all the magic. So yes, it was the home that I loved.
Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this video enjoyable, be sure to check out the full episode on your preferred podcast platform. And make sure you're following How to Fail on social media for additional content and updates.